What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Smooth Plays podcast. I'm Austin, aka Austin Plays, joined again by Dean, aka Mr. Smooth. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm ready to dive into these matchups, my man. Ready to
Yeah, is
talk.
there is there a specific game that you're ready to get into?
I'm always excited to talk about the Steeler game. So,
Well, you're not gonna have to wait long because Week 12 predictions is here, and we're starting off Thursday night. Your Pittsburgh Steelers going into Cleveland. What are we looking to see in this one?
this every AFC North game, at least with the Steelers in it. I can't speak for, the Ravens Bengals games, but with the Steelers in it, the AFC North games are going to be ugly. And we saw
Mhm.
that last week with the Ravens. We both said it was probably going to be a 3-point game, and the Steelers ended up winning by two. I know the Browns aren't good, but I could see that being the same here. The Browns are 1-4 at home, but Mike Tomlin, as a favorite on the road on Thursday night against a divisional opponent, he's 0-5 all time. He's never gotten the win. And this game is trappy. That's all I'm going to say. I want to
Yeah,
hear what you have
this
to say.
is a lot of people that I've seen. They're calling this one a trap game, but I'm not buying it. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not buying it. This is a game for the Steelers. I think. Look, as long as you go out there and you try to look, they're 2-0 when they don't score touchdowns. Okay, they can't make this another game where they don't end up scoring a touchdown. They have to put the ball in the end zone against a defense in the Cleveland Browns that has been struggling this year. They gotta find ways to put the ball in the end zone and take care of business. And this is again like last week we talked about it in the recap episode. Jameis threw for 400 yards. That's not going to happen. The Steelers defense is too good for that. And I think this is a game where, like, yes, this is a game where if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, this could be considered a trap game, but I think the Steelers are going to go out and handle business. I don't think this is something to worry about. They're favored by 3.5, so 4 points. If they can win by 4 points, I think they can win this one by four. I like them. I like them to cover the spread. And this is going to be the second week in a row where I'm going to jump out early. Pittsburgh Steelers are my lock of the week. Just to
Wow.
take the win. I mean, I'm taking the Pittsburgh Steelers money line. That's my lock of the week, Thursday night football.
Hey, I love it. They've won five in a row coming in. I do think that this matchup comes at a good time because I feel like when this matchup normally comes around, it's week, 3 or 4
Hmm.
early in the season. This is late enough in the season where they know that they just need to go in there and handle business. Now,
Yeah.
I don't like how it's a short week on the road after an emotional win. But looking at this Browns injury report, they're missing Jedrick Wills, Dewan Jones are two tackles. So who's going to block TJ Watt? I have no idea.
Mm.
And then also, since JOK has gotten hurt, their defense has fallen off a cliff. I do think the pick here is to roll with the Steelers because I feel like the Steelers have, at least this season, they're better than they have been last year, and I don't see them falling into this trap again. Um, the weather's supposed to be pretty cold. I don't know what the wind is, but the props are actually really low. Russell Wilson's passing prop was 175 in this game.
Yeah. I mean,
So
yeah, the elements always play a factor one way or another. But look, yeah, the Steelers team has been the better team all year, and they're the better defense. They have the better offense. I mean, do
should be
your
able
job.
to,
Just
yeah,
do
just
your
go in
job.
there, do your job. I completely agree. Steelers 3.5, take the points. Come
Yeah.
on.
Yeah. Lock of the week, Steelers money line. All right. Lock it in, ladies and gentlemen. Sunday, we're gonna move on. We just talked about your team. We're gonna talk about my team now. The Tampa Bay Bucks going into MetLife to play the New York Jets. Both of these teams coming off a bye.
Yeah, both these teams coming off a bye, and definitely one team that I'm feeling a lot better about, and that's the Bucks. Because the Bucks have looked good, even though they've had injuries, they've been in games.
Yeah.
And you really think playing the Giants is going to scare me off. I honestly like the Bucks -6 in this game, to be honest. I think the Bucks off the bye roll.
Yeah. I
Tommy
mean, yeah,
DeVito's
Bucks
starting this.
off. You said what were you saying? Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, no, I was just I cut you off. Tommy DeVito's starting this week.
Tommy DeVito starting. I mean, that's big. Daniel Jones, I saw that he's bumped all the way down to fourth string
Yeah,
quarterback. I mean, he's sitting behind the practice squad Tim Boyle right now. Like that guy, man, let me tell you, biggest waste of money that the Giants have spent in years because ultimately it resulted in them losing Saquon. And we see the kind of year that Saquon's having. So I think the Bucks roll here. You mentioned, even with all the injuries they've had, they've still been in a lot of games. They're 4-6 right now. But yeah, I think the Bucks, they should win this one by a touchdown. At
Yeah.
least, I think Mike Evans he's questionable right now. He'll probably be a game time decision on whether or not he plays this week or not. But especially if they get Mike Evans back this week, I mean, look for them to explode, and you know they should win this one by a touchdown. I like the Bucks to cover the points here.
Yeah, I like the Bucks covering too. I just got one question for you.
Oh
Who's,
gosh.
in your opinion, whose contract is worse, Deshaun Watson or Daniel Jones?
I mean, Deshaun Watson, it has to be Deshaun Watson still because I mean that man he's literally his contract and all the guaranteed money he's got has literally terrified the rest of the NFL from giving these guys as much like guaranteed money. Like it has literally shook the foundation of front offices everywhere in the NFL.
Yeah.
But that's all I'll say about that for now. But we're gonna go ahead keep rolling here. Kansas City Chiefs 9-1. You just had your first loss, and now you got to get right game against the Carolina Panthers. Going into Carolina, I mean, look, Kansas City, you're coming first loss of the year. Patrick Mahomes has struggled all year. This is a Carolina team that you're leaps and bounds better than. I mean, if Patrick Mahomes is gonna have that 300 four or five touchdown game, like this might be it.
Yeah, you would think so. Panthers are coming off the bye and the Chiefs coming off the loss, which means I don't know if Pacheco's coming back this week. It's either this week or next week, I'm pretty sure. Um, I just 10.5 is the spread. And who have the Chiefs blown out this year? Seriously,
They haven't blown. Oh, I think they've blown. I won't even say blown out. They've beaten. Let's see.
let's
Um, they have beaten one team by 10, two teams by
they
10
haven't covered,
plus. Yeah, they've
two
beaten two teams by 10 or more points this year.
and the Niners they beat by 10, so they don't even cover that. They've covered 10.5 once, and
Once
it was
against
against
the
the
New
Saints at
Orleans
home.
Saints.
I don't
Uh,
know, man. I know the Panthers are bad, but I almost want to be on them plus 10.5.
Hey, I mean, who Bryce Young, man, is Bryce Young? Bryce Young should still be the starter. I mean,
Yeah,
won two
won
in
two
a
in a
row.
row. Yeah.
Like he had a bye week coming off the bye. Like I'm not gonna say let's make it three, but if they can come out again, this is a team that up to this week has been the Super Bowl favorite just because it's the Chiefs and they continue to win. If you're the Carolina Panthers and you're in Bryce Young and you can go out and keep this one close, keep it a one score game, like that's a win in my book. I mean, if I'm a Panthers fan, I love that from Bryce Young because, that could be the start of, all right, this is why we traded everything away we traded DJ Moore, all our picks. This is why we went out and got this guy. Like this could be a hang your hat on type of game if you can keep this one close.
Yeah, I'm it's so scary to say this against the Chiefs, but I'm on Carolina plus 10. That's the side I'm on. 10.5.
I I'm almost tempted to tell you. But and I'm gonna do it too, because I mean they've one team all year, the
Yeah.
Like the Saints, and I mean I'm not saying obviously when Carolina played New Orleans week one, obviously it's week one and they got blown out by 40, but it's scary for sure. But I'm rocking with the Panthers. I'm just rolling with the trends, the numbers, and yeah, give me the Panthers plus points here against Kansas City.
Never thought I'd say that.
Yeah, crazy. We're gonna move into the Dallas Cowboys and the Washington Commanders. I mean, and yeah, this game. I mean, this is a Dallas Cowboys team that's riddled with injury. I mean, I almost want to say, wow, they're away. They might have a shot because if it was in Dallas, you could write them off. They're not winning that game. But it is on the road. Commanders are favored by 10.
Yeah, like you said, Dallas owned 5. So all three of their wins are on the road. There's no doubt in my mind that I'm taking Dallas. I don't care. I'll take Washington minus 10 just from the way Dallas has looked. Like there's no way I can back Dallas after the way they've looked.
Yeah. I mean, I'm right there with you. This is, yeah, Washington Commanders. This is like this is the best the Washington Commanders have looked since they were the Washington Redskins and RG3 was their quarterback, lighting the league up his rookie and his sophomore season. I mean, there's
It,
reason to believe in this Washington Commanders team, especially when Dallas is at this is again, I think I've said this earlier this year. This is probably the worst I've ever seen the Dallas Cowboys.
yeah, I mean, I agree with you. That the other year that they had Cooper Rush, I think they won like 7 games, maybe 7 or 8, and they didn't look terrible. But this is bad.
Yeah.
And
I mean, you look at this one top to bottom. Let's just talk about the Dallas Cowboys for a second. They are the worst team in the NFL in terms of the rushing game on the offense. And, without Dak, I mean, their pass game is essentially non-existent. I mean, they're just not able to compete and keep up with teams because their defense is so bad. Their defense, they are a bottom tier team in the NFL against the rush. And then because they can't stop the run game, I mean, teams just control the clock, and then eventually the only way to stop it with what they got is to load the box. And once you do that, now they can just air it out against you. So
yeah,
this
and
Dallas team is pitiful.
you're telling me Jaden Daniels and company aren't going to go out there and put up
Oh,
30,
they're going to put on a show. I'm not
and the
gonna lie.
Cowboys might not score 14 because
All the years that the Dallas Cowboys have dominated,
the
like
command.
you can't tell me that the Washington Commanders aren't going to be at home and they're going to put on a show for the fans, and this is their get back game. They're going to make up for all the years of suffering that they've been
They've
put through.
also Washington's lost 2 in a row, so I'd see them dominating Dallas in this game. Honestly,
What do you think about the spread? 10 points?
I'm taking Washington.
I'm taking
Dallas
Washington.
covered a 10-point spread in the last since Cooper Rush has started. I don't know if they have.
I mean,
And
I don't. Let's see real
they
quick.
lost. Okay, in Atlanta, they lost by 6, and Dak played the San Francisco game. But the last 2 weeks, they lost 34-10, 34-6.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Give me Washington. Give me Washington points. I might take. I'm not gonna say 20. Give me minus 10.
Yeah,
They're winning this one by 10 points or more. All right, we're gonna move into the Patriots and the Dolphins. What do you see? I mean, Miami's a 7.5 point favorite, so favored to win by more than a touchdown. What are your thoughts on that?
my thoughts on that are, I mean, Miami's looking for their third straight. Seems like they're starting to figure things out a little bit. And they're very much, especially if they win this game, right in the thick of things.
Hmm.
Improve to 5-6. Divisional games are tough. I do see Miami winning the game, but the way Drake May and this Pats team has looked since he's been inserted, they haven't been bad. And Mayo's going to have those guys, biting kneecaps, as Dan Campbell would say,
Yeah.
out there at least playing hard, right? And it was 7 points against the Raiders last week, and it's 7.5 against the Pats. And I think the Pats are better than the Raiders. I'm
Yeah.
on England plus 7.5 in this game.
Yeah, I like New England 7.5 here. I mean, yeah, Miami. They're too inconsistent in my opinion. And again, this Patriots team, they're 3-8. They should be 3-8, but like I said, I think they're still, they're not they're not 8 points worse than what the Miami Dolphins are right now. And
Yeah,
I got to take the Pats here plus points.
the way the Dolphins have looked, for them to be minus 380 on the money line is crazy to me.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean,
but
yeah, that's a value pick right
yeah,
there. Just take the Patriots, give me the points, keep it close. But I'm on your side as I think Miami wins it.
yeah,
Um, but give me the Patriots with the points.
yeah. So a touchdown's too much divisional game, man.
Absolutely. Let's say these guys play each other 2 times a year. Like there's bad blood, all right? They're out for they're out to hurt people's feelings. All right, and then we're moving on. Tennessee Titans, the team that you wake up every Sunday and you think, man, I can't wait to watch this team. The Tennessee Titans facing the Houston Texans. Another 7.5 point spread. I mean,
uh, I'm just glad the Titans are on at 1 o'clock and the Cowboys are, so I don't have to watch them this way.
yeah. Yeah, Houston should have won this one. I mean, this is gonna be Nico Collins, right? Maybe not the most flashy game. All right, you mentioned in our recap he had that touchdown that got called back. That was unfortunate. I like Nico Collins to score a touchdown this week. I mean, second week back in the lineup, he was the leading receiver in the NFL. before his injury, and you know I think this is gonna be a game for him to pick right back up. Statistically, the Titans have been pretty good, at least in terms of yardage against the pass. So a little bit of concern there, but I think Nico Collins, I think he finds a way to get into the end zone. I like Nico Collins scoring a touchdown.
Yeah, I mean, I like that too. We know how good he was before his injury. But like you said, Tennessee is pretty, at least yardage wise, decent, pretty good against the pass. Actually, I think they're top five in the
Hmm.
league
Yeah,
yardage.
I'm pretty sure they are.
And we both you and I agree that I know his receivers have been getting hurt. That CJ Stroud has been a little bit underwhelming so far this season.
Absolutely. I mean, CJ Stroud, I mean, I know when the year started, I had Kyler Murray as like my dark horse MVP. When I was looking at this beginning of the year, CJ Stroud was in that mix as well. I mean,
Yeah.
he was definitely a guy I feel like that we had to talk about in terms of like his potential this year, and he's kind of underdelivered. But I mean, at the end of the day, they're winning games still. They're still 7-4 and right in the mix for the playoff spot. So I mean, as long as they're going out and winning games, that's ultimately what you pay your quarterback to do. So
Yeah.
I like Houston. I like them to win this one and a little sprinkle the Nico Collins anytime touchdown in there.
What do you think about 7.5?
7.5, I think Houston win. I think Houston can cover that. I mean, Houston's defense is good enough, I think, to where Houston's defense is good enough and Tennessee's offense isn't as good to where I think the Texans are going to be able to keep points off the board. Derek Stingley is going to be all over Calvin Ridley, and I like the Texans minus 7.5 here.
Well, it took us 5 games, but I'm on Tennessee plus 7.5 because I think this is another case of I think Tennessee should have covered last week, honestly, against
Yeah.
Minnesota. Um, and this is another case where it's a divisional game, and I think it's similar to this New England Miami game in a sense that it is a 7.5 point spread's a lot in a divisional game, and I think the Titans have been playing better. I think they'll be able to run the ball and maybe disrupt that offense a little bit and get pressure on CJ Stroud. Titans, I know I'd complain about you every week, but just lose by a touchdown or less. Come on.
Seven or less, and Dean's happy.
Well, everyone's on Houston after Monday night, but
Yeah.
forget that they played a high school team in
Yeah.
Jerry World.
I mean, hey, anything can happen in the NFL, man. But I mean, give me the Texans. They're the better team.
They are
Handle
for sure.
business. All right. And then I think this is the new favorite. I think this is the new best team in like after Kansas City's lost. Probably this is I think my Super Bowl pick right now. If I were to pick a team right now, the Detroit Lions are sitting at 9-1. I think they've been the most dominant team in the NFL to this point in the year. Going up against the Indianapolis Colts, or who they're coming. They're sneakily creeping up on a playoff spot. I mean, AR can if he can figure it out and play a little bit more consistently, you know, sweep everything that happened the beginning of the year under the rug and play like he did last week for the rest of the year. This is its Colts team that could sneak their way in.
Yeah, they definitely can. They're right in the thick of things. This game is weird because, like you said, Detroit has looked incredible, and there's a part of me that wants to be on the Colts side here, but then I remember that they have a dome, so it doesn't matter
Yeah.
where it's at. They're in a dome. The Lions are rolling in a dome, but I'm a little bit torn on this game. I want to hear what you have to say.
Well, all right. So my thing in this game is the Detroit Lions are by far the better team. They're favored by a touchdown. I'm just gonna cut right to it. I'm taking Detroit. I'm taking the points because Indianapolis's defense is not it. Like they're not it at all. I mean, they let up 27 points to the New York Jets last week. Like that's saying something because as bad as the New York Jets have been, like this Colts defense giving up 27 points to that how that offense has looked to this point in the year is not a good look. They have only allowed less than 20 points uh twice this year, three times. Yeah, three times to the Chicago Bears, the Tennessee Titans, and then a Skylar Thompson or no, a Brett Hundley led Miami Dolphins. Um,
Tyler Huntley.
Tyler Huntley led Miami Dolphins. So the Detroit Lions are not that team. This is, I think, another game where the Detroit Lions. They just dropped 50 last week, and I think that this is another game where they drop 35 plus. And I look at them to win big in this one.
Yeah, I do think that the Colts offense, we know how good the Lions are against the run,
Hmm.
but I do think AR has weapons to where he can get this offense going a little bit. But that's why I let you talk about it first to kind of talk me into it. There's no way the Colts are stopping the Lions. I mean,
Mm-mm.
and let's be honest, 49 and a half, Lions are probably scoring 35, like you said, by themselves. So
Yeah.
that and the Colts are going to score 20 probably. I
Hmm.
mean, take the over, take the Lions. Lions are a wagon.
Yeah, oh yeah, we're right. I think I might ride with the Lions the rest of the year. I mean, I know you said you're fading the Saints the rest of the year, and I'm might be riding the Lions all year.
They're a wagon, man.
All right, we're gonna move along to the Minnesota Vikings going into Soldier Field in the windy city of Chicago. Divisional game. This is one for Minnesota. This one I can see being a trap game too. I mean, 8-2 against 4-6. Home dogs by 3.5. What do you think?
I agree with you. I think this is a trap game, and I think I'm on Chicago. I'm actually on Chicago to win this game outright. I think
Yeah.
Chicago's going to win because I think they looked better last. Like they should have won last week. They should have beat
Hmm.
Green Bay. Finally, put that little brother stuff behind them, and they didn't because the kick got blocked. And you got another divisional game, home underdog. Sam Darnold throws a couple interceptions and against that defense, and I'm on Chicago, man. Yeah, I like Chicago.
Yeah, I'm on Chicago too. I say we're on the same page. I think Chicago is the move here. I mean, if not to win outright, which I do like them to win outright. I mean, 3.5. I think they keep this one within a field goal. Like, I think this is a good spot for Chicago. There's good value there, and this Minnesota Vikings team, they've, they definitely aren't the same Minnesota Vikings team that looked as red hot as they did when the year started. Sam Darnold, as you mentioned, he's cooled off a little bit. I'm not to say that, they're gonna fall off a cliff, but I think that the Chicago Bears, they can definitely sneak a win out here at home underdogs. Give me the Bears, dog of the week, man.
I like it. I won't say it's my dog of the week yet, but it's one of them. I'll put a couple dogs out there.
Yeah, I like the Bears, dog of the week. But we're gonna move on to the Denver Broncos and the Raiders. This is a divisional game in Las Vegas. 6-point favorites. I mean, I just took my dog of the week. Are we gonna see a dog of the week here from Dean?
I don't think so. After seeing it, I really was thinking about it, but I just don't. The thing is, we're going with a lot of chalk here, so we're thinking this is a pretty chalky week in the
Mhm.
NFL if we take Denver again. But after the way Denver looked last week and the way the Raiders have, I mean, the Raiders have dropped what, five in a row, six in a
Yeah,
row, maybe?
yeah, they're sputtering bad.
Uh, there's no world I can take the Raiders. I can't.
I mean, look, I've been riding with Denver all year. They're my sneaky team. Okay, they just had the best performance of the year, but they're going on the road against a divisional game, and Vegas plays very tough in their division. Um,
Yeah, they did.
6-point spread. Call me crazy. I like the Vegas Raiders here to cover the spread. I
I
like.
think six is
I
a
think
lot.
there's value in those points.
Yeah, I think they can cover six. I do like that. I think they can cover six. Like you said, these divisional games at 6, 7 point spreads are big. But also it's because there's all these teams that they're playing are 2-8.
Yeah, they are. But like I said, divisional game here, and
Yeah,
we talk about how the Denver Broncos, the strength of this team has been their pass defense all year, and but the thing that they're good at is receivers. I mean, the Vegas offense is circled around Brock Bowers, and I don't know if Denver statistically has done very well against stopping these tight ends. I don't know if if I mean looking at this roster, I don't know if they have a guy that can, shut down a guy that's coming out of that tight end spot. I mean, because Surtain is the guy that stops the number one option that's out wide. They don't really have a guy in my at least that I can name off the top of my head that can lock down a tight end,
yeah,
especially at the caliber of Brock Bowers.
yeah. Not especially. Yeah, like you said, the way he's looked. I think Raiders plus six is. I can definitely get behind that. I like that.
All right. We're gonna move on to the Niners and the Packers. This is a playoff matchup that has been a doozy in years past, and this one, I want to hear what you have to say about this. I mean, it's in Green Bay.
I want to see who plays because Bosa's questionable, Kittle's questionable, even Purdy's questionable. But I think Purdy's going to
Yeah,
play most
Purdy's
likely.
gonna play.
But
Um,
Green Bay's one of the best teams interceptions wise. This is the same thing as I said last week. How Green Bay is Chicago's big bro. San Francisco owns Green Bay, and I think the Niners win this game outright, and they start to turn things back to where we expected them to be.
okay, well, I mean,
In
Niners,
Lambeau.
Niners under road dog win. All right, from Dean. I can't get behind it though. After for everything that I've seen from the Niners, I can't get behind it. You mentioned the little bro thing. This Green Bay team, I think, has just figured it out. Their defense has been lights out
Yeah.
at home, and I like Green Bay here. Unless San Francisco's defense can find a way to dig deep, dig their heels in, and get some stops the way that they have been so dominant in years past, I just don't see it happening. I mean, I like Green Bay here, and I like them. They're only 2-point favorites, so give me the points. I think they win this one by a field goal at least.
All right. Well, we disagree, but I see where you're coming from, man.
All right. Divisional game here, Arizona Cardinals going into Seattle.
This one's really it's a pick 'em. Uh, and like we talked about, probably the most intriguing division in the NFL right now, at least the divisional race, is the NFC West.
Hmm.
This is a massive game.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, this game essentially determines who's in first place in that division.
yes, yes, it does. And with that being said, though, I'm trying to see if there's any look ahead spots. I mean, Seattle. So Arizona plays in Minnesota next week. I just don't see. I think Seattle, after an emotional win, first year head coach, I can see Arizona going in there and being able to control the ball running it with James Conner and Kyler Murray and those guys. I like Arizona.
Yeah, I'm on Arizona on this one. I mean, look, Arizona again. We talk about I've talked about this Arizona team. They've got some good wins under their belt. They're 6-4. They're a competitive team, and I'm not to say that Seattle isn't competitive, but Arizona has struggled whenever they play, good teams. A lot of their wins against the Giants, the Dolphins without Tua, against the Patriots, the Broncos, week one.
You
I mean,
mean
and
Seattle,
then
right?
against, huh?
Seattle.
Yeah,
I think I
Seattle. And
spoke on.
then Atlanta. I mean, those are I mean a lot those are all bottom tier teams right now. And then you look at their losses. They lose to the Rams, they lose to the Bills, they lost to the Niners already once this year. They lost to the Giants, which is a bad loss, and then they lost to the Lions. I mean, they're minus the Giants, they've whenever they play good teams, they don't play well. And
Yeah.
this Arizona team, I think they're better than they're definitely a tier higher than like I'm not gonna say they're a great team or anything, but they're definitely better than those, bottom tier teams. So I think the Arizona is the way to go here in this one, and I like them winning in Seattle.
I agree.
And we're gonna move on. That wraps up our Sunday, early window and late window, and brings us into our Sunday night matchup. The Philadelphia Eagles cross country trip going into LA to play the Rams. I
This is
mean,
a great game for Sunday night.
I think that this is a great game as well. The Rams are healthy.
Yeah.
That's the big takeaway. I mean, we've talked about it last week. We talked about it in our recap. The Rams, when they're healthy, man, they're competitive and they're a good team.
Yeah. Yeah, they definitely are. I do think that Philly has a great matchup, at least with Brown, Smith, and Goddard
Hmm.
against the Rams defense. But with that being said, I don't think that the Philly defense can be able to stop this Rams offense. I think this could be a high scoring game, and I think the Rams are going to be my dog of the week to win this game outright.
Really?
Against
Hey,
Philly.
look, home
Cross
underdogs,
country.
man. Home underdogs
Yeah,
are good. They're always a good, tricky spot to take. So. I mean, I respect it. I see where you're coming from, but I don't know, man. This Philly defense, or not Philly defense, but the Philly team as a whole, like, I mean, they're clicking right now, and I don't know if this could be the week though that Sirianni effect kicks in, and they have a real bad loss. And I
Yeah.
think that is a very real possibility. But I mean, you mentioned their offense is just so explosive. They got so many guys that can just hurt you at so many different levels. I gotta rock with the Eagles on this one. I think they get the job done. I like them just to win this one outright.
I think that's fair. I'm looking at their schedule and they do play at Baltimore next week. Philly does. I think that's even more of a reason that I'm on the Rams. I think the Rams are winning this game home underdogs, man. Sunday night.
All right. That wraps up our Sunday slate and moving on to our last game of the week, Monday Night Football.
The
Baltimore
horrible.
Ravens going into LA. Back-to-back games in SoFi Stadium in prime time. Only 24 hours between them. That grounds crew is going to be working. And the LA Chargers are at home to play the Ravens. What do you think?
The horrible is here.
The
It's
Harbor
here.
Bowl, baby. Jim and John. I mean, this game I think is gonna be exciting. I think this game's gonna be very exciting.
We got honestly the slate overall. The 1 o'clock game's not the best, but the primetime games this weekend, very good.
Yeah. Like I say, you mentioned you mentioned chalk so far,
Yeah.
like on those early slate games. But yeah, I agree. These primetime late window games they're very, very enticing and should be good ones to watch. Um, I'm looking at Baltimore and LA though, and I mean, I think John's dominated this matchup. At least from what
I,
I
I mean,
from what I can from what I can remember. I mean, he's got the Super Bowl win, and from what I can remember from the time at San Francisco, Baltimore has handled their business.
well, let's be honest. The only thing that matters between the two brothers is
Is the
this.
Super Bowl?
Yeah, all the other matchups no one cares about. The Super Bowl, John won that, so he's won.
Yeah.
Uh, but this game, man, I want to hear what you have to say about this game. It's gonna be a good game.
So I mean, these are two teams, right? 7-4, 7-3. Ravens coming off a loss against a Steelers team that didn't score a touchdown. That's not a good loss on your record. The Ravens have had multiple games that are just not good losses. I mean, of their four losses, I think three of them are games that are like you should have won this game. But looking at this Ravens and Chargers, just looking at their rosters. I mean, both teams are coached well, so I think they'll kind of cancel each other out in terms of John and Jim, the coaching staff. But from a roster standpoint, I just look at this Ravens team as a little bit more established, and then this Chargers team a little bit more of the young, up and coming guys, trying to establish themselves. And I think Baltimore, coming off a loss, especially, is just going to be too much to handle. And I think the Ravens roll here.
I do think Baltimore off the loss is probably because Lamar off a loss too. I think the Ravens will win and probably cover. But I'm just a little scared about Justin Herbert versus that Ravens defense. He
Yeah,
might dice them up.
he might. It is a very real possibility. I mean, all year the Chargers have been a established a ground game and ground and pound team. This game might warrant a change. They might just air it out from the jump and have Herbert throw for 400 yards.
Well, recently, the last 3 weeks, Herbert's stats have been up. Like they're like, I think Harbaugh's starting to realize, hey, we can win
This
with this
guy's good.
because he has one interception this season.
Yeah.
And we both know the Ravens' pass defense is not good.
Mhm. I mean, I think anybody and everybody that watches football understands how bad the Ravens pass defense has been.
And the Chargers have won 4 in a row. I am on the Ravens with you, but this one's closer. This one's close, I think,
Yeah.
because the Chargers are good, man.
The Chargers
Chargers,
are good. I'm not dogging the Chargers. I just think that, like you said, Baltimore a little bit more established. Lamar Jackson,
yeah,
Josh Allen he's kind of overtaken him, I think, in that MVP race
the
to
big
some
game.
people's eyes. I think this is just like, you know what? Nah, I'm retaking that top spot. I'm the MVP favorite, and this is why. And the Ravens go out there and they handle business.
I like that. Off the loss, I do think the Ravens, they're too good to lose two in a row. Like honestly, they're just too good. Their team's very, we know that.
All right. Well, that pretty much wraps up all of our week 12 predictions. And you got anything else you want to add before we close this one out? Did you give us your lock and your dog,
My dog was the LA. I
the
don't think
LA
I,
Rams,
yeah, I don't think I gave out my
a
lock.
lock?
I mean,
If you had, I mean, if you had to pick a lock, I mean, what are we thinking?
you want me to go just outright winner or
I
a
mean,
spread lock?
if you think that
I
the
mean,
points are a lock, take the
I mean,
points, man.
I really think Tampa's going to beat the Giants by like 20. But I wouldn't say the spread is a lock because it's 6, but Tampa winning the game is a lock. That's a lock.
Okay.
Tampa's
Hey, Dean, I love to hear that. I'm gonna say, so your lock is my team and my lock is your team. All
yes,
right.
sir. Hey,
That's
that
why we
was
get
not
along
planned.
so well, because we just got each other's backs, man.
That was not planned. I will say that.
All right, yeah. So you're rocking with the Bucks as your lock, and then your dog was the Rams. My lock was the Steelers, and my dog was the Bears. So, hey, I think that this, like I said, the early window games, maybe not the most intriguing, but plenty of action in the primetime windows. Thursday night kicking off here and a little bit, and I'm excited then. I know you are because your team's in
I'm
it, but
very excited.
I do think this could sneakily be, you know, sneakily could be all divisional games are always interesting. So,
Yeah, they are. So
but
are we cooking up the Rams, Bears, Steelers, Bucks little four leg?
hey, I mean, if that's what I'm not gonna say, like, you know, because I don't want to be responsible for you losing money, but no,
Four, hey, we 4-0 on our picks. Come on now.
yeah,
So,
well, I don't have anything else. I said I sprinkled in Nico Collins the touchdown. All right, I think that's enough for me today on this
oh,
episode.
let me say, you know who's getting in the end zone 100% this week?
Who?
James Conner, 100%.
Hey,
100%.
hey, look. So there you go. We gave you all a couple of anytime touchdowns as well. So make sure if you want to sprinkle those in there, go for it. But we don't got anything else for you. Appreciate y'all stopping by. Make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe, share with a friend, and you know, appreciate y'all sticking with us throughout the year. And we'll keep grinding, and we'll see you on the next one.
Yes, sir.